All right. Nate Albaugh here with the Trap Life Clinic and Social, which is one of my favorite events of the year, alongside a dear friend of mine, Wade DeVries, head coach at Roxana High School. Coach, 12-1 this year. What a year. But before we talk anything about that, tell everybody, what will you be speaking about tomorrow?
Yeah, so tomorrow I'm going to talk about incorporating tempo into the wing tee. I think it was something that, we were competitive the year before. We were 7-4. Won a playoff game, which was a big step forward for us, but really kind of finding a way to take that next step offensively and be able to figure out how to score. So we went down to Rochester, talked to Derek Leonard, and we went full tempo, as fast as you can run plays. We tried to do it.
Yeah. So for me, and I made a video about this offseason, saying like my buddy Wade went tempo, right? It's so tempting. But you and I have talked about this a lot. Like, you can only focus on so much, and you're going to be good at what you focus on.
Oh, 100%, yeah. And sorry, I think I cut you off.
Fine, go.
No, so I think that the thing is that, I watch, you guys play, and I watch the Goncharov stuff, and I think that I'm so jealous of the way your guys fake. But that's just not our emphasis, right? I'll make some comparisons tomorrow to the weight room. When I started as a head coach, our emphasis was power cleans. And we wanted to power clean, and that was our emphasis. And now it's speed. And I think that you can do both of those. You can emphasize one of those things and still play really good football and be really good as a program. But I think it's hard to emphasize both. You only have so much time in the weight room. And so if you're going to emphasize something, whether it's offense, defense, special teams, weight room, whatever it is, you have to find that thing that separates you, I think, and emphasize it.
And that's what I was going to ask you, is that when you decided to go tempo, what did you feel like you might be giving up a little bit?
Fakes.
Yeah.
Scheme.
And it's not that you don't still try to coach fakes. It's just you're not going to be at the level of a team that's their priority.
No, absolutely. we still coach it. We preach it, we coach it, but nothing comes at the expense of tempo. And
right.
So
okay.
I think that is the most important thing for us is we have tempo rules that we'll talk about tomorrow, and I think getting to those rules, and that is our priority, and then we filter down from there.
What was it that made you finally pull the trigger and go, all right, we're going to make tempo the priority?
I felt like we were average, and I felt like we had an opportunity this year to be better than average. And it's a combination of a lot of things, right? We had a lot of returning starters. They were smart. I felt like it was the time to do something offensively. We had been, for my entire existence as a head coach in the 7 years before this, we were going to play great defense, period. We're going to kind of grind the game out, limit possessions. We want to steal one on special teams, and that was always our mindset. And we were okay. And then, we lost in the second round in 22 to Prairie Central, and I didn't feel like our philosophy gave us an opportunity to score enough points to win. And so for us to try to take that next step, which is state finals, right? That's where you want to go. And we fell short this year, but I felt like that was something. We had to outscore teams, and that was the philosophy that we took, and I think it's something that we'll continue to do.
Now, one cool thing about clinic season is you hear an idea and you're like, dude, I want to do it, right? Like, I've been like that my whole career. So when a guy hears from you, they're going to go, dang, I want to go tempo. Give somebody an idea of, okay, but if you go tempo, this was a frustration or something that's difficult maybe I didn't expect. Like, just be aware there's, like, what's kind of the other side of that?
For me, tempo was Derek Leonard at Rochester. Like, that is where, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to go to that guy. We wanted to get better at buck sweep a few years ago, and I went to Bismarck Henning guy because they're so good at it. I coached against them, and they killed us at it. So I wanted to go, okay, who runs tempo? Derek. He does it better or as well as anyone that I've ever seen. How does he do it? And he told me, some of the positives are this: you score a lot of points and you get to do all this. Some of the negatives, your two-way kids your dudes can't play both ways. So my dude,
and that's a hard temptation for people to avoid.
We went with 22 players for 90% of the game.
Wow.
And we had to, because we're going so fast. And really by the second quarter, in the fourth quarter, we saw that it gave us an advantage, because while they have two-way kids, we don't. And my backups, who aren't quite as good as my starters maybe, are still good enough. And you have situations where those starters go in both ways for a situation, right? Hey, I got a dude that is my best corner who's playing running back, but it's 3rd and 8 in the 4th quarter. His ass is playing corner. And so you're able to do things like that. If you're not that good, tempo it presents the issue where you could get blown out. Right? I mean, if it's something that you're going to get married, you have to marry to something, right? And I liken tempo to triple option in the sense that, or wing T in the same boat. You have to marry it. Like you can't, if you run some tempo, then you do, but you're not running tempo like we do. Like every single thing that we do is about going as fast as humanly possible on offense and snapping the ball as soon as we could possibly snap it. And so that to us is tempo. And I think that you have to be married to something. We run the wing T, but that took 5 years. And after 5 years of running the wing T, then we decided to add tempo to it. And I don't really know that there's anything else we could add to it at this point, because anything that we add is either going to take away from our wing T aspect or from the tempo aspect. And we really had to limit plays. So, for example, we're a wing T team that doesn't run down. We had to go. It's just another play to run. And we don't need more plays. We need to run our plays faster and execute them better. And so that was kind of the area. That's where we went with it. But there's definitely some downside to it, potentially. And
I remember at one point you said this year, like, we can't slow down. Like, our kids, we don't execute the same when we slow down.
We played Olympia in the quarterfinals, and they're a great team. And we were up by 3 touchdowns probably in the 4th quarter. And we went out there, and I'm like, hey, there's 6 minutes left in the game. We're up by 3 touchdowns. We're going to get in a huddle, and we're going to go run our plays. And we ran, 40 seconds off the clock each time, and only to go freaking 3 and out. And so our kids have a hard time not going. It's our identity. Like, it's so much ingrained in what we do and who we are that when we don't do it, our kids, not that they question what we do, but they're just like they just kind of look at each other, right? And so I think that now I do believe that going fast and slowing down, I think you have to practice it. Yeah. So that was honestly something that I had never practiced. As I think back to the season, I reflect is we had never practiced, hey, now we're going to slow down, because now we're up 1 with 6 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. We've got to grind these 6 minutes out. Can we still do that? And we have to find a way to execute at a higher level. I think that tempo provides us with the opportunity to potentially, we don't always execute at the highest level, but we can catch people out of position and gain some advantages in that way.
Man, Coach, love talking ball with you, obviously.
Yeah.
Those of you who don't know, Wade and I, our little daughters are best of friends. Our wives are great friends, and Wade and I are good friends. We coached together years ago, but excited to hear from you tomorrow. Thanks for being here, and we just love you being a part of this.
It's so fun, man. If you're thinking about coming, you need to be here.
Amen.